Nope. You can't have me.
Hello, welcome to Sketchyville. We thought we'd come here today and introduce ourselves to you. We are your content creators and the makers behind Sketchyville. I'm Anne, I am the ringleader of the circus. This is Neely, and this is Lexi. Now, if you've read our bios on the website, you'll know that we are nail techs, that we work at a salon in Wisconsin. And like every other salon across the country, we were shut down during the pandemic last year. During that time, we all were looking for ways to go a little less insane, and we started crafting and making things. From these projects that we were doing and talking to one another, the concept of Sketchyville was born. Neely and I have been friends since about the time the salon opened 9 or 10 years ago. And Lexi has the advantage, or as was said earlier, the disadvantage of being my oldest child.
Neely's the one everyone likes, though.
Why do you guys keep saying that?
Because we are jealous of your clicks.
It's because of my mom. What are you talking about?
My mom doesn't use Facebook. It's not fair. And Lexi's mom doesn't have any friends.
Well, I wouldn't say that. She's just at a disadvantage because you are her mom in this scenario.
Exactly. You are at a disadvantage because I'm your mom.
That's not what I meant.
So we've known each other for a really long time. We're a really tight group. I have been crafting ever since I was a small child. My mom always had me doing something, and it's probably because I am the youngest of 6 children and she just wanted me out of her hair. But I learned how to crochet, knit, needlepoint probably around the time I was in kindergarten. And I've really been doing things ever since. I've paper crafted, I was a digital designer for a time. I know how to do calligraphy and word art, and if you name it, I've probably actually done it. Right now, I'm working in miniatures. I'm making a haunted dollhouse that I started at the beginning of the pandemic, and that's really kind of become my obsession currently. Neely, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Like you said, my name's Neely. I moved here 9 years ago from Wyoming. These two have kind of become my family here and really encouraged me to be more creative. It used to be with nails and now with crafting. My main focus right now is the dot mandalas that I do. When I started doing it, it was purely to give myself a purpose every day while we were shut down. I needed something to keep my spirits up, something to focus on, and kind of calm my anxiety. I've done it on coasters, just regular tiles, wooden letters to go in somebody's room, and I'm still working on other bases, trying to expand my horizons with the help of these two encouraging me. But yeah, that's what I do.
And Lexi, tell us about what you do.
I am a bit of a jack of all trades. I'm the type who likes to learn how to do everything, and I have been crafting basically since I was a baby, because I'm your kid, so I was always craft stuff around. Right now, I am mostly doing painting and miniature painting. I also am learning embroidery and revisiting cross stitch because Amazon lured me in with a pretty picture, which is really all it takes. And yeah, I never really considered myself an artist until I was doing nail art, and through that I started working small with paintings. I would do little itty bitty canvases, and that's when I found miniatures being a big geek. That was something small I could paint for my games of D&D. And from there I started working bigger. I started getting into graphic design, and really kind of found that, yeah, it turns out I was actually an artist the whole time and just didn't want to admit it to myself because I felt like I wasn't good enough. So that's kind of where I am at. I'm here to kind of, I guess, hopefully inspire other people to realize that they too are artists, including these two.
You were a closeted artist.
Yeah, right?
And what Lexi didn't tell you, but I'd like to spread around because I am her mom, is Lexi is not only good at painting small, she is really good at painting small. She is actually an award-winning nail artist. She has won a national competition for nail art, and the picture of what she did is up on the Sketchyville Facebook page. If you want to check it out, it's really amazing what she can do on a tiny little canvas. So yeah, so guys, you know, what's your favorite drink?
Well, I always go. This is an easy question. I always do the vodka press. I like Moscow's. Sometimes a beer in the summer, which is rare. But yeah.
I go to the drink menu and I find the most tropically pineapple infused mango drink that's there, and that's my jam. It's different everywhere I go, but I like having a menu and I like looking at it and picking out my drink and having something that's really sweet and sugary and full of alcohol.
I started drinking when I was still in high school, and so I took shots because it was easy to hide.
Fair enough.
My dorm pass self agrees with you.
But I think probably my longest lasting favorite drink that I always enjoy is Amaretto Stone Sour. But they tend to be really sugary, and despite my blimpish figure, I have on and off on occasion tried to watch my weight. So I do the vodka presses, vodkas and neos, you know, when I'm just looking to get drunk and don't really care about how it tastes. And Bloody Marys. I like Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
So, Neely, when you started doing mandalas, what was it about it that made you think, that's my craft, I want to try that?
It's funny because I had so many pins on Pinterest that I had saved over the years of dot mandalas. I loved how they looked. I love the colors and the symmetry and everything about it, and it's very peaceful. That's what I relate it to, is like having inner peace, which sounds really cheesy, but that's just what it was. And when we got shut down, I just thought, well, I used the dotting tools for nail art and at work all the time, so why not try it? I started using these mini canvases. Lexi gave me some that I tried, so I started on that with paints that I already had and quickly realized I wanted to go bigger. I started on tiles. I've done big wooden letters for babies' rooms, and I just really fell in love with being able to put it on different things because it really is beautiful, and it chilled me out when I was having a moment. So, yeah.
Lexi, you do a ton of different crafts, but what's your go-to, like when you're stressed and you want to zen out like Neely does with her dot mandalas? What's the one thing that you pick up because you know it will just like make you focus?
It kind of depends on the day. I usually, for those moments where I'm super stressed out, go for something that either doesn't require a lot of thought or something that is very low risk. So I'll either, if I want to be creative in those moments, I'll pull up in my sketchbook and make some messy doodles that might be used later. But if I don't want to think, right now it's cross stitch, before it's been crochet, diamond painting. I just pick some kind of thing that I can just follow somebody else's pattern and just go with the flow and do it.
So I guess we're done here. Nobody else has any questions.
Okay. One of the questions that I had specifically for Lexi was, do you remember the first miniature that you did?
Yeah, I do. It was a little fox, and I actually repainted it later, and it looked pretty much the same as the first one I did because it had almost no detail on it, so I wasn't able to do anything really super fancy with it. But yeah, I just grabbed a fox and looked up a picture and did a kind of foxish pattern on it. My eye skills have gotten better, so my eyes looked better when I repainted it. I didn't repaint the same one. I took a separate one of the same miniature and painted it later just to see how it looked once I gained some more skills.
That's fair.
And then I had another one. My first person mini I did was like this girl with a sword and shield. doorknob that it looked really wonky. I mean, it could have been worse, but it was definitely not, like, looking at it now, I still have it, and it's like, oh yeah, I came a long way.
That's why you have to keep those. I still have my first ones, and I look at them and I'm like, wow, I thought this was something. I really did. Okay, and then my other question for you was, out of all the crafts that you've done, do you have a favorite, and do you have a least favorite?
You know, my favorite is always just kind of like in the moment. It's kind of whatever I'm working on at that point in time. I'm really, really enjoying doing miniatures right now, though, and it feels kind of like a culmination of everything I've learned up until this point, because it takes paper crafting knowledge and some woodworking and some fiber craft. I mean, when you're making a dollhouse, it literally, it's everything in your house shrunken down, so you have to figure out how to be able to recreate all those things. So I kind of feel like in doing this craft, I'm doing everything that I've done before. And as for one that is my least favorite, knitting. Yeah, knitting.
Yeah.
And needlepoint's probably a second. I'm not a long-term project maker. If something takes me a month, it's probably not going to get finished. I need to be able to do things and see my completed project probably over the span of a week or so. It's not quite so bad with the dollhouses, because I've been working on my main dollhouse now for, since March.
Yeah, this is like from the beginning.
But because I'm doing so many different little things, it doesn't quite feel like such a slog. Like when I would crochet Afghans and they would take me a month or two to do, it was like, why am I not finished with this yet? It's like I've been working on it constantly. How come I'm not done?
Well, that's what's nice, like with the dollhouse, is that you've got different rooms and you have different components of each room, so it kind of mixes it up. And I think it's fun, like when you get to pick out what you want the floor to be like and the wallpaper and
and theming it, because my dollhouse is mid-century modern, the interior of it anyway. So it's you can pick a theme, a time period, a color scheme, and really run with it. And then on the next project, you can do something completely different. So yeah, it's super cool. And because I am so crafting ADD and can't get stuck on the same thing, I literally have 5 projects going at once. I'm working on my dollhouse, my 2020 room box, a book box for a kind of a group project that I'm doing with some other miniaturists. The witch house that's a collab between Lexi and I, and then another house that's from a cartoon show that my husband and I watch for him to store his tchotchkes on. So I literally can't just be doing one thing either.
Which is, I think, helpful for you to like.
Yeah, I'm really not good at like sticking with anything.
Well, and we talked about this the other day, but like stepping away from a project when it's getting to be, if something's not going right, like I have that happen to me all the time. And it's kind of helpful with the mandalas when I'm layering the dots to give it more like dimension. I have to wait for that first layer to dry. So it gives me a chance to step away and just be like, okay, that wasn't going right, but it's gonna be okay. And then I can come back to it and I feel fresh. And then it feels like it goes smoother.
And for me too, with the dollhouse projects, if I have something that's really not working, I can be like, oh, you know what? This house just isn't going to have a plant in it. That's how it is, you know. And kind of switch gears and put something else there, which is useful to me, because if I'm not good at something, it like drives me insane. So it's easier to be able to just be like, yeah, nope, I'm going to put that away, and I'm going to pretend like it didn't happen.
Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, no, I get that.
I see what you mean too with the stepping away, because I have those moments where, like, if I'm working on graphic design and a file crashes or something, and it's like, I just can't look at this today anymore, and you gotta like find something else or go and watch TV or something and just shove that in the metaphorical closet for a night until you can come back and just not look at it with that veil of frustration over it.
And that's when I mess up on something and I have to step away. That's future Neely's problem, and I will figure that out maybe tomorrow. So I guess I'm not as good as I think I am if I still have to use the pencil, but I need that guide to make it symmetrical.
I want to come back to the you think you're not good enough because you have to use a guide. You guess you're not as good as you think. I think that's this is attitude in art communities where if like you have to use a guide or a reference or something, you're cheating, and I kind of hate that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's very what's the word? It's almost like this superior exclusionary thing, and I think it like stops people from learning and getting better. Like, oh, you used a tutorial, and I understand like don't claim something's entirely your work if you're using a tutorial or things like that. But there's an element of like don't act like this isn't something somebody legitimately did and like achieved and made something. Like that's super cool no matter what goes into making it, you know.
That's very true. Okay, so do you have a favorite project you've ever done? One that you're so proud of, it went smoothly, like you overcame any troubles doing it?
I can't think of a single project I've done that went smoothly.
Okay, so just one that you're really proud of and like it's your favorite. Like what do you go to when I ask that? Like what's your first thought?
Well, I had two. One is like a miniature that I painted for ReaperCon last year before pandemic things happened. And it's like a little half-orc girl. And I probably worked for like 2 or 3 months on this thing. And I got a silver in their ranking system, which doesn't mean I like placed silver on over the whole, but that I'm at a silver skill level, which was way better than I was expecting to get on my first time there. So I was pretty proud of that. And then the other one is a painting I just finished, where it was, for years, I was working on just filling a canvas with random textures and, you know, scribbles and shapes and things. And it just came together at the end, and I put like a portrait over it, and I just really loved how it turned out.
Very cool.
Probably for me, and it's not that it went smoothly, but it's one of the things I've done that I'm most proud of that has actually like kind of stood the test of time. Is I used to do stained glass, and back my husband and I actually met online in a science fiction chat room because we're geeks. I made a stained glass piece that another friend of ours had actually drawn the picture for, and I made it into a stained glass pattern. And it was a dragon's head from a book that my now husband really enjoyed. And I actually made it and mailed it to him, and it survived being mailed across the country.
Thank God.
And then he moved out here to be with me probably 6 to 9 months later, and it survived that move as well, and it actually still hangs in the window in our office. So
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know I made that?
No.
The wolf too.
Yeah, the wolf too. That's in our living room. Yeah.
You learned something new.
I still have all my glass supplies in the basement and glass, so you know if you ever want to learn, I can teach you.
I kind of want to try mosaicing tables, which actually brings me to one of my questions. Are there any like crafts in general or trending like crafts or art things right now that you guys really want to try that you haven't yet?
For me, it's the polymer clay like earrings. I see it all the time. I want to do it so bad, but it's scary. But I watch TikToks all the time. I follow so many creators that do that stuff, and you can do so much cool stuff. But it's like, it looks hard. Like, it really does. It looks really hard, so it's intimidating.
I'm trying to think, because I'm at a stage in my life where if I see something and I want to try it, I just do. I have the resources where I can buy supplies to actually try new things. And so I think a lot of the resin crafts that I'm seeing are kind of cool. And I have the kit sitting at home. I haven't jumped in yet because it scares me a little bit.
Resin is scary.
Yeah, because I've heard so many stories about it not working and things like that. But I do have the stuff at home to try it, so you'll probably be seeing that in a blog post soon. Hopefully it doesn't blow up in my face. Or, we just all die from inhaling the fumes or something like that. So
Hopefully not the death part. The other part could be entertaining, though.
yeah, I've heard a lot of horror stories about it not setting up and things like that. So I'm imagining, like popping a picture frame for my dollhouse out of the thing and it just like oozing all over my expensive craft mat that I can't get anymore. So today we were talking about things that we thought you might like to know about us. But if you have a question that we didn't answer, be sure to leave it in the comments. We're going to be doing these videos together about once a month from here on out, so we will be sure to answer your question the next time we put a video together. In the weeks in between, we will each be doing our own videos showing tutorials and projects that you might like to try. And in that vein, if there is a craft or something that you want to know more about, let us know. We're creating this content for you, so we want to be sure to make things that you are interested in. So if you haven't already done so, be sure to check out our website at sketchyville.net. Also, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We even have a TikTok for updates on our blog posts and when new videos go live. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, be sure to do so. There's only 15 of you and we need a lot more. Really, not kidding. And be sure to give us a thumbs up if you like this video. If you didn't like this video, that's okay. That's why I have a therapist. Thanks for visiting Sketchyville. We hope to see you again real soon.
Mr. Pop.